Hey everyone, welcome! In this video, we'll take a quick look at Imperfect, a Blender add-on for adding realistic surface imperfections to your materials quickly and easily. I've got this model here with a simple principled BSDF setup. You can find Imperfect in the N panel after installation. Just press N if it's hidden, and click the Imperfect tab. Before we start, it's highly recommended that your model is properly UV unwrapped. Most imperfections rely on UV coordinates for correct mapping, so good UVs give the best results. Alright, with our object selected, let's browse the library. We have categories like dust, edgeware, grunge, scratches, and more. Let's try adding some grunge. I'll scroll down here and let's go with grunge 9. Okay, the effect is applied non-destructive. Let's jump into the shader editor to see how it's set up and how we can tweak it. Imperfect adds this node group for us. Inside this group, or sometimes via a connected mapping node, you'll find controls. Checking the scale is really important. The default scale might not fit your object size. Let's find the scale parameter here. See how changing this value affects the size of the grunge details? We also have other controls here, like intensity I and intensity 2, normal strength, and roughness. These let you fine-tune the look. For example, I can adjust the intensity to make the grunge more or less prominent. Notice how the outputs are connected. Here, the grunge affects the base color, the roughness, and the normal input of our main shader. You can customize these connections further if needed. Okay, let's try another example on a different object. I'll switch to this standard shade ball model. Again, make sure it's selected and has a material. Let's pick a different grunge effect this time, maybe grunge 7, and again, the grunge is applied. Let's go back to the shader editor. We have a new node group, grunge 7. Let's adjust the parameters for this object. Remember the scale? Let's adjust the scale parameter here. See, this object might need a different scale value than the bust for the details to look right. Maybe something like 5 here. And we can tweak the intensity and roughness again. You can see how quickly you can add variation in detail. Let's disconnect this for now, and look at the fingerprint generator. Imperfect also includes a cool fingerprint generator. This creates a separate scene to generate unique fingerprint patterns you can then use as textures. Let's select the fingerprints category. Okay, let's click Apply Fingerprints. This will load the generator scene. Below this button, you'll see the fingerprint settings appear after loading the scene, starting with the resolution option. So here we are in the generator scene. We can choose the output resolution, 1K, 2K, 4K, or 8K. Let's stick with 2K for now. Now, we have lots of parameters to customize the look. Density controls how many prints there are. Initial seed randomizes the overall pattern. Scale adjusts the size of each print. Rotation changes their orientation. Position XY shifts the pattern. Seed rotation, offset rotation, max pivot, seed pivot give even more control over the individual print variations. You can play with these until you get a pattern you like. Before rendering, you might want to check your render settings, like switching to GPU compute if you have one, maybe adjusting samples or enabling denoise, though the defaults are usually fine for this. Okay, once you're happy with the pattern, this part is manual. Imperfect sets up the scene, but you have to actually render the image. Go to Render greater than Render Image, or just press F12. After the render is complete, you need to save it. Go to the Image menu in the Render window, select Save As, choose a location and file name, like my_fingerprints.png, and save the image. Great, now we have our custom fingerprint texture saved. Let's go back to our main scene with the shade ball. Now, in the shader editor for the shade ball, we'll add this fingerprint texture manually. Add an image texture node. Shift-A greater than texture greater than image texture. Click Open and select the fingerprint image we just saved. To control how this texture maps onto our object, let's add texture coordinate and mapping nodes. Shift-A greater than input greater than texture coordinate. Shift-A greater than vector greater than mapping. We'll use the UV output. Now, we can use this texture. For fingerprints, it often works well to control roughness. Let's connect the color output of the image texture to the roughness input of the principled BSDF. You might want to add a color ramp in between, Shift-A greater than converter, color ramp, for more control over the contrast. We can also adjust the scale and rotation of the fingerprints using the mapping node. And there you have it, realistic fingerprints applied to our material using the generated texture. You can use these textures in many ways, affecting color, bump, roughness, and anything you need. Instantly, realistic fingerprints applied to our material, using the generated texture, roughness, anything you need. So that's a quick look at applying procedural grunge and generating custom fingerprint textures with Imperfect. It's a powerful way to add detail and realism to your Blender projects. Check it out on the Blender Market. Thanks for watching Imperfect, because perfection is boring.